Welcome everyone back to another video. It's a snowy day here in New York and it's cold and the only thing you want to be doing is just chilling in bed watching a movie. Our pile has grown of mods that we're gonna go ahead and throw on this thing. I know I promised that we we're gonna do that long tan box next. I even had my rivet tool here for it. It's a wicker bill, and since I have these lights on, I goofed when I said last video that I was gonna do it next. I'll probably take it off in the beginning of January. So for now, I'll put that to the side. We have another mod here that we could put on. Now this one isn't as exciting as the last video or as the future ones to come. When I ordered my original Camaro from the dealership, I optioned it with this. We got ourselves some red OEM seatbelts. Now yes, it's only the front two. I really don't use the back seats for anything. That's why this video might be titled back seat removal delete. I know it's not gonna save a whole bunch of weight with just doing the seatbelts, but I'm gonna do it eventually when I do the rear seat delete. And since we're already gonna have half of the panel off to put these on, I figured why not just go ahead and take those out. So for the fronts, you'll do literally what I do. And then for the rears, I'll take them out, and essentially it's just the opposite thing of putting them back in. Also, I just wanted to mention, thank you guys for all the love you've been showing the past couple of videos. I don't know if the algorithm's been blessing me, or I guess I'm just finally doing something right on YouTube. But yeah, let's get into it. The tools we're using today are the 10 mil ratchet, an extension, Torx. This is a 50. Not sure which ones I'm gonna use in here, but it's a premium auto trim removal kit. So you know, whatever we use, it's all premium in here. Really cheap plastic pieces, but. And a screwdriver. I'm gonna try not to use this because I don't wanna scratch any of my plastic. First step. Normally that'd be the first step, but I just realized that in this small ass car, you're gonna wanna be able to slide your seats a little bit forward and a tiny bit up. So now you can disconnect the battery. So next I'm gonna go ahead and pop this out. So that exposes one bolt in there. Should have done this before, but this is gonna go ahead and expose that second bolt we're looking for. Gonna go ahead and put that in the driver's seat. So you're gonna grab your 10 mil. So once you get the screw out like that, just gonna push it down and then it comes out. Pop this out, literally if you have a little bit of nail, and you could feed the seatbelt kind of through it. And we're gonna go ahead and get this little guy in here. This one was nowhere near as tight as the one on the bottom of the seatbelt was. Here we got our T50 Torx. We're gonna go ahead and start taking this part of the seatbelt off. Damn. This is what it looks like when it comes out. You got the bolt, and obviously it's held in by a washer and some really thin piece of metal. You could spin it off if you want, but I think the other ones come with it. All right, just because I'm getting in and out of each side of the car, I'm gonna go ahead and take the seatbelt off. This one I'm having a little bit more of a tough time with. So if you're gonna do this, note to self, don't put the seat too far up, because now the plastic is literally stuck with the pressure from this part pushing this trim in. Hopefully a little bit of wiggling will help it, or this tool will, or there we go. I think I just broke something, but it is what it is. Essentially the same thing as the other side. If I run into any complications or differences on one side, I'll make note of that in the video. So in order to reach two more bolts that are behind this trim, and also we're gonna have to reach one down there, we're gonna have to lift this seat up and take it out. You're gonna wanna give this seat a really good tug. I don't think this seat's gonna sit the same anymore after this. Aftermath of taking out the right side, I ended up using this, the way you see it there, literally putting all my weight down on it so that the seat would pop up. But you see the little bit of damage that it did. All right, let's see if I could get it out from behind. Finally. So here's our rear seat after like 35 minutes of trying. The right side came up so much easier. The left side was a literal to get off. I don't know why. I guess this is supposed to stay in there. This is maybe where the problem was. But going back to the reason why we took that out was to get this plastic trim out. Just like when I made the video of installing these, we're gonna have to go ahead and lift this trim up, as well as prying this back a little bit. That's how you get to back there. Then you're just gonna come over here and kind of just pull the weather sealing off, kind of all the way down to that panel we removed. All right, so there's a clip that goes in that hole right there. Just use this tool, stick it under there, pop it up, and then in here, put this underneath it and kind of just pried it out and popped it out. Simple enough. Now that we got the bottom half loose, forgot to take off the top seat belt because I was struggling so much. If everything goes smoothly, you pull this up and out. Got a whole bunch of dust on it. That roundish piece kind of sits right there in that little valley. And I don't know why, or if everyone's is like that, but mine on this side has got a little bit of a curve to it going that way. There goes your top seat, revealing the trunk. So there's a bolt apparently holding this plastic trim in place. Put a pry tool in there and pull it down. That should expose you to another 7mm, the same thing as the one that's on the top over here. Hope you guys could see that. Oh shoot. I just pushed up on the headliner, put my hands all the way through here, kind of got underneath it here and started pulling out the back part. Those are pretty much all clips back there. I think there's another 50 Torx back there that you could see, as well as I think another 50. We're gonna go ahead and remove those. Now this one went back in. Bruh. All right, so we took all this out. Now I'm gonna slide the seatbelt through. Now we got this plastic trim. Now that that's out, you should be able to get your fingers behind this and start pulling on this. Before you do that though, go ahead and grab this and kind of stick it through there. That way you can get this little pop clip thing out. I'm assuming it was one of the screws, but sounds like clips. So now when you go ahead and pull this off, you want to be super careful because obviously your speaker's right back here. There's a wire obviously connecting the speaker, and the speaker is kind of built onto the plastic. I'll show you right now. So it's going to look like this back here. These red things are obviously your clips. They all seem to be pretty much intact. I really don't want to disconnect this speaker, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is, this is the seatbelts retractor. I think another 50 mil on the bottom, which looks a little difficult to take off. And then there's going to be another 7 mil up top. And there she is. You're going to take off your plastic piece to put it back in the trim. All right, so I finished putting all of these clips back on. And then lastly, for this bottom, this is obviously pretty easy. 50 Torx down there is a little bit harder. A lot of people kind of just lifted this up and stuck, I guess, their extension underneath there like I suggested. Mine would not line up for whatever reason. So I came over here and this little thing sits on a screw. You're going to pop that up. And then you're going to come over here, and this one should be a little easier to see. You're going to pop that out. That allows it to move a little bit more freely and get underneath there. I haven't seen anyone do this in the videos I watched. Not that there's a lot to begin with. I know my finger's really blurry, but right there's the tip of the Torx 50. There's the extension. And over here is the ratchet. And this is the sensor on the side. You want to be kind of delicate with that, especially when you're pulling the seatbelt itself out. Don't forget to disconnect that. It has two little orange tabs that you kind of pull up and the thing will pop out. The one I bought actually didn't come with this little screw. I took it off of the original one that I had, the black ones. Now it's time to go ahead and pop this in. It's pretty much going to be a reverse order. So we put back in the 10 mil. We put back in the 50 Torx. Put back in the 50 Torx up here. This is obviously going to sit out here. Finally, we could let this wire rest if the speaker works. I'll be very surprised by the quality of these wires. And then here's that sensor you want to go ahead and plug in, and there's those orange tabs. They should click. Pop these tabs back in that you popped out earlier to access that lower 50 Torx. And then from there, you're gonna put this trim back on. So when it comes to putting these back in, I would start with that one up there. And before you do, actually try to take a mental note of where they are so you know where to push. I know there's one right around there. And then we got this one in here. I can't show it because literally there's no clearance, but there's a little hole when this is out. And at the end, there's like a little tab. So you literally drop the tab in like that. So you drop it in like that, right? The tab is facing down, and then you spin it while the tab's in the hole. And then you could line up everything else. Before you put everything in, you're gonna wanna pull out your seatbelt and make sure it lines up with the screw that's gonna go in there for your airbag. If you're also gonna do your rear seatbelt, you should have put that in already. Some recommendations I could give you when putting all this back. This piece and this piece, they're not permanently stuck, but also there's a crack here I didn't notice before that you could separate them with. Not really a crack, but a separation. Do one side at a time. I needed to look at the other side to see if it's just normally how it goes. Like this, I thought it was wrong, but this is really how it is on the other side. Kind of going off of that, take your time with it. There were a couple instances where the clips in here weren't catching onto this panel, and it would leave a horrible gap here as well. With that, I went ahead and put our two bolts back in for the airbags. Go ahead and stick this back in however it goes. I guess it goes like that. And kind of perfect. Didn't notice that my SD card was full, but I went ahead and put this trim on as well as putting the weather sealing back on. Also, I went ahead and put this back in, and I just literally pushed this down. If you really want to see all this, I guess I'll throw in the clip right now with the other side being done. Now we're gonna go ahead and focus on getting that done. As you see, the seatbelt's still in there. Actually, before I take the seatbelt out, I'm gonna go ahead and take these out with, I think this is an 18. So there you are, both taken off. You can always put these back on. I'm just gonna keep them off. Airbag plastics out, 7 mils out, 50 Torx out there, 50 Torx out here. Just gotta get to that one. I'm gonna pull this trim off next. So the rear seatbelt is now out. One thing that's different that I didn't notice on the other side is this red tube. Not sure what it is. So there's my loose passenger seatbelt. There is a clip here now. Essentially, there's just like this little thing down here on this end, You literally just push it and it comes free. There's only one on one side, so I think it is a passenger side thing because this one has it as well. So just make sure to clip that in as well as your airbag sensor that you got there. The red seat belt's in. The clips are off the metal and back on the panel. We got our sensors plugged in, as well as adjusting the black plastic back in its place with that. And this clip over here. Now we're just gonna go ahead and put this panel back on. So here you have it, your front seat belts, your rear seat belts, as well as the parts that they go into. And as for the inside, here's your finished product. The seatbelts give the interior a little bit more of a pop of color. And if you're worried about the back, don't be. Looks like nothing happened back there. Not really, but just to show there's no check engine light. And there you go. But that's pretty much gonna do it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, you learned something. If you did, make sure you guys drop a like. I'm obviously bringing more of these videos. Like I said, probably do the wicker bill next over there. I'm really happy with the results. Hopefully you are too. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.